The first boat we're going to share with you today is the Cutwater C26.
We are Malcolm and Rachel, and welcome to our channel. We share everything about our retirement lifestyle.
Cheers!
Cheers!
So, some of you might know, we are on the hunt for a boat.
We are.
A West Coast boat.
A boat that we can use in the West Coast.
In the West Coast, yeah. Pacific waters, the Salish Sea.
Yes, the Pacific Northwest.
The Strait of Georgia.
What more can you call it?
Anyway, we have obviously enjoyed our main ship 390 trawler. Some of you know have followed us on our Great Loop.
And for those of you that want to know more about that, there's a review for that as well. So you can look that up. That was one of our better viewed episodes, and something I think would be helpful if people are looking for that looper boat.
Perfect. And so some of the things that I think that we are looking for now are a little different than what we had on our main ship. So we aren't planning to live on this boat for a year. That's number one.
And that's a big one.
Yeah. So we don't need quite as much room on the boat.
No, we're not looking for a condo on the water this time.
That's right. And so we would like to have something a little bit smaller, something that can accommodate two people comfortably, and maybe more if we take a couple of guests with us for a weekend or something.
Yeah.
We definitely have decided that we want a faster vessel. So although we didn't need speed on the loop, now we're feeling like, we may want to get up to Desolation Sound and some of these really cool fjords and areas kind of more quickly and just enjoy the area there.
And spoiler alert, maybe Alaska.
We're hoping to get up to Alaska. That would be really awesome.
Yeah.
So definitely a faster boat for that. And because we have the accommodation on our property here, we're hoping to have a trailerable vessel so we can store it at home and do any work on it and, get everything ready here before taking the boat to a marina and launching it there.
Right.
The other things that I think we are looking for is we don't need a flybridge.
Nope.
If you had a flybridge and it was on a trailer, it must be huge. But
you'd lose it on the first overpass.
You would. Anyway, so we don't need a flybridge, and we also don't want any canvas.
No.
That's something that we had on the main ship, and it's okay, but you do feel like you are more exposed to the elements. The rain doesn't always stay out.
Well, yeah, and that's a big thing here. Like in the Pacific Northwest, certainly if you're in the shoulder seasons, there's a lot more rain.
Yep.
And it's best to have a hard top. And if you're going quickly, the last thing you want is flapping canvas all over the place. So a hard top is really where we're going.
Yep.
Any cover in the back should be a fixed cover. So if something over the cockpit, for instance. So, but no canvas, no isinglass, nothing that is, what you'd normally see on a flybridge or on a looping boat.
Yep.
We want something a little bit different.
So we do want to have that sort of single level boat, and we'd like to have a fairly decent sized cockpit for fishing.
Yeah, yes.
That would be great. There's a lot of great fishing out here.
Yeah, and when we get one, well, we'll make sure that we do some videoing of that fishing.
And
the videographer here will make sure.
I will make sure that we have it on film.
I have caught fish, and I know I have very little proof, but I have caught fish.
So, I mean, if he's going out in the kayak, I can't help you there. But, if we're in the bigger boat, that'll be a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So in addition to having a decent-sized cockpit for fishing, we obviously want a swim ladder so we can swim. I'm not sure how much swimming we'll do, but in the summer months, probably.
Even if you fall out, at least you can get back on.
You can get back on. That's true, actually. Good point. So we would like to have a comfortable captain's chair and a forward-facing co-pilot chair. That's something we kind of missed on the main ship. There were plenty of places to sit in the main ship, but there wasn't a forward-facing co-pilot's chair. So that would be much better to have, especially when we're going fast.
Yeah.
We'd like to have a dinette. Something we didn't actually have on the main ship. We had somewhere to eat, but it wasn't quite the same dinette that we sort of wanted to have.
Yeah.
We only need a small kitchen. And we're okay with a small head, a bathroom. Yeah. And we're okay with the wet head. You know, it's not ideal, but we're okay with that because we'll probably use a shower more on the transom.
Yes. So it's got a hot and cold, so there's a bit of that. And we'll probably put a composting head in there.
Yeah, because we have one already.
Yeah, we have one already, and then we could even swap out the black water tank for a fresh water if we wanted to extend our range.
We actually considered changing the head in Stay Cool, our main ship, to a composting head, but for resale value, we thought it would be easier just to leave all of the holding tank and everything in place, and we just thought it would be easier in the end. So we would have preferred, though, to have the composting head there.
Yep.
The other thing we'd like was we prefer a diesel engine, but we're okay also in saltwater to have outboards, which are typically gas, so that way you can lift the engine out of the water.
Correct.
So that would be a preference.
And ideally 2. So ideally we'd like 2 engines versus 1. There's not as many people boating up here, and certainly if you're doing shoulder seasons, it's not like you're in Florida or you're coming up the eastern seaboard where you actually have lots of boats. Towboat USA is everywhere. Here you get some of these fjords, and one engine. I prefer to have 2 engines.
You're more isolated.
You are.
There will be other boats around, and there's definitely cruise ships and things coming up here all the time. So I mean, maybe someone could help us if we were, but we don't want to be in that situation.
So the idea of having 2 engines, and you're right. It would be great if they could be diesel, but that would be inboards. And I think around here there's a lot of people with this style of boat that have outboards. I prefer Yamaha if we're looking at brands as far as the engines. But
we'll see what we can find.
Exactly.
Yeah. We also want something that's relatively low maintenance, although we can do a lot of the maintenance on the driveway if we have it here.
Yep.
And a lot of the boats here come with diesel heaters for those shoulder seasons and the winter months when it's cold. And that's something we could actually do here. Is we could boat all year if we want to.
We could.
I don't think we'll do much in the winter, but
no.
You never know.
We're still pleasure boaters.
Exactly.
So and although these boats are gas, some of these heaters are ethanol or alcohol heaters. But either way, it's the same type of heater, and it allows you to extend your season. So if you've got a nice salon with a dinette in it and there's places to sit, a little heat makes a big difference when you're going, at 40 knots.
That's true.
You want to be in the warm if you can be. So a heater's important.
Even if we're at anchor, it's nice to have the heat on. We're familiar with that with our other boat.
Yep.
So these are the things we're looking for in a boat.
Yep.
And we've started looking, and we're still looking. But the first boat we're going to share with you today is the Cutwater C26. It's a 26-foot vessel.
Yeah, and the Cutwater, and many of you may know, but the Cutwater, same manufacturer as the Ranger Tug. So it's that sort of, it's a Pacific Northwest manufacturer.
Yeah, just south of here, actually.
Yeah, very close.
Yeah.
This is a Cutwater C26, the first type of boat we investigated here on the West Coast. From these stock photos, we think it looks pretty slick in the water, although we have yet to try cruising one. Although the C26 is no longer manufactured, the specifications are decent and what you might expect from this size of vessel. The interior layout makes excellent use of space with efficient multi-purpose areas. First, we'll share some of Cutwater's stock photos of a new C26 so you can get an idea of the layout and how it feels. Upon entering the cabin, this is the view looking forwards. The dinette to starboard seats 4 and converts to a berth for 2, although I think it would be better for 1 comfortably. From the front looking aft, you can see the captain's bench seats 2, and there is a forward-facing co-pilot's chair. Turning to face forwards, there are 2 steps down into the bow with a convertible V-berth accommodating a person 6'4" and a TV and small seating area to port. The bathroom or head is small but efficient, and a wet head for the shower. Back up into the cabin facing aft, there is the galley on the port side with convection microwave oven, and the captain's bench converted to the dinette seating. This area has lots of windows letting natural light in. So that's a look at a C26 in new condition. Let's have a look at the used boat for sale.
So we went to see the boat, and this particular one was on the hard. It was on its trailer, which that ticked 2 of the boxes, right? I mean, one of the boxes. It was on a trailer, so it was actually something you could pull. As far as the exterior of the boat, obviously it's fiberglass. It has a very nice looking hull. So the hull actually looks like somewhat of a performance boat. It's got lines on it that really sort of lend itself to the things we were talking about.
And it looks, we didn't actually take this one in the water, but we've seen pictures of it and videos, and it looks nice in the water.
It looks very nice in the water, and this one had an inboard diesel. So there was a number of things that sort of drew us to this boat initially. And when we showed up, as I said, it looked pretty good.
The Cutwater 26 is a pocket cruising yacht and sold as a performance boat and incorporates many creature comforts with style. This particular Cutwater 26 was a 2015 model. This is the bow thruster, the spare on the trailer, and the fiberglass hull itself looked in pretty good condition. It had nice railings on the bow and a good anchor. From the rear, you can see the owner added an extra kicker engine. The boat looked clean and was well equipped with Garmin GPS. At the rear, you can see the stern thruster, rudder, and protected propeller. Inside, this model was in pretty good shape. The floor was worn, but one of the tests for us is to see if there's enough headroom for Malcolm, who's 6'2". There are 4 hatches in the ceiling and windows all around for great visibility and lots of natural light. The equipment at the helm includes switches for wipers, bilge pumps, light, autopilot, and thruster controls, GPS, throttle, and shifters. We really like that there's a forward-facing co-pilot's chair, and it folds down when not in use to make more room in the galley or kitchen. We're not sure why, but the owner had removed the oven, so it left this open space here, and it looked kind of unfinished. To rear, you can see the dinette seat lifted up, and this allows access to a double berth underneath, which seems kind of claustrophobic to me. There's also access to the electrical switches and the fuse panel. Facing forwards again, there are 2 steps down towards the convertible V berth. There's a lot of natural light in this area with 4 portholes and 2 more hatches. There's that TV and small seating area. The head, or bathroom, is just like the model pictures we showed you, and there were even thoughtful towel rails on the back of the bathroom door. The cockpit was small but efficient, and the bench at the back flips so you can sit facing into the cockpit or out towards the swim platform. Access hatches provide limited access to the engine, and this hatch to port accesses batteries, inverter, and the extra tank the owner added for the kicker engine.
So I like to relate this to sort of the Swiss Army knife of boats. It has everything. So, and that can be a really good thing. If you're looking for a boat that has all of those things like heaters and hot water, cold water, valves, all the amenities you could think of, it's got them.
So some of the things we really liked about the Cutwater 26 are the sort of thoughtfulness, the way that they designed the boat. There's a lot of great features in there for living. If you're out for a weekend or a week or something like that, they've used this space really well. Like every square inch of the space has been used for something that you would use on the boat when you're living. So they've taken, one space and made it sort of multi-use. So they've got, for example, the captain's chair at the front. It's actually a bench. 2 people could sit there. It flips so that you can turn it into the dinette. Yeah. So they've got a seat there for 2 purposes, which is good. Yeah. I think the co-pilot's chair sits on the fridge, so that's another.
You can slide it forward.
And you can slide it forward, exactly. Yeah. So there's lots of opportunity for use of space in the boat. And the other thing that I thought was great, actually, was it had lots of windows all around, really good peripheral vision.
It was super.
And the windows at the side open. So that's a really good feature when you're in a closed space and it might be hot, and actually does get hot out here in the summer. So it's nice to be able to open the windows and get a breeze flowing through.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the visibility back and front, side to side, really, really good. And they were good, thick windows. So it was not as, you didn't feel as though you were sort of vulnerable to the elements.
Even
really
the door at the back to get out, to get into the interior there, that's glass too. So, or plastic, whatever it is, but you can see through it. So it lets a lot of light in, which is really nice. Yeah. And I guess the next thing for me is that it's got so much in the boat that there's very little that needs to be added to the boat.
True.
This one, the owner took out the convection oven though, so there wasn't an oven. I'm not sure why they did that, but I don't know. Maybe they didn't plan on cooking anything, but that's one thing we would have to change.
Maybe they like sushi.
Yeah.
The other thing with all of those great amenities, as everybody knows, is they're always broken. You just don't know yet. So the reality is, they're sometimes difficult to get to. So the accessibility of some of these amenities becomes difficult because you're dealing with a relatively small boat at 26 feet.
They pack a lot into a small space.
They do.
Yeah,
so, you know, I'm not one that's going to be interested in sort of bending over 3 ways to try and change a bilge pump, or to do something with the water system, or even get in the engine room when it's, you know, that size.
So I guess the more systems there are, the more complex it is, and the more that can go wrong with it. So we want to sort of be aware of that. So I think, yeah, overall, this boat had more things than we were looking for.
Yeah.
And the downside, actually, that we found out from the salesperson was that the existing owner had added
A kicker.
a kicker on the back, which weighed it down, and it actually couldn't get to speed properly.
Yeah, and so for those of you that don't know, a kicker is really just a smaller engine, usually an outboard, something around 9.9 or something like that horsepower, that they basically bolt onto the back of the boat, so that when you're fishing, you can actually run that engine and you're not running the main engine. So it just keeps it slow. It's very efficient as far as fuel, and they're normally gas. So regardless of what your main engine is, those are gas. This particular owner was absolutely outfitting that boat for fishing, and it was great. But he put a big gas tank in the cockpit area, and then he put the kicker hanging off the transom, and that, according to the broker, slowed the boat down tremendously. It made it go from, you know, a 20-knot boat to something that was very uncomfortable at that speed and would really only run at 10 or 12.
Yeah, I think they said it didn't handle very well at high speed, and the best speed was around 8 knots or something, which was pretty much what Stay Cool could do. And then why would you buy a boat like this if you're going to go trawler speed? That's
right. So, and that was one of the major things with it. So the key was performance. We're looking for a boat with performance. So with that not really sort of meeting the requirement, then we started looking at the other parts of the boat, just in general, because there's lots of cutwaters out there, and see what are the other sort of form, fit, and build within that cutwater. And we thought, you know, it's a great boat. It looks like, as we said before, it's got lots of features. But I like to work on the boat myself, and I like to do a lot of the work on my own. And having so many features tucked away in so many places, I think would make it very difficult for us to maintain that boat. And we don't need a lot of those things anymore. We're not living on this thing.
Yeah. So in summary, I think we can say that the Cutwater 26 is a boat that is a very nice boat. This particular one is not the right one for us. It had a lot of great features and some things that we could look at going forwards in another boat. But it was a good first boat to go.
It was. Actually, it wasn't a sort of a loss leader. It wasn't something that I felt we wasted our time looking at. It gave us another sort of data point as to what the cutwaters can do. They're great boats. I think, you know, there's a lot of them out there. People love them. For us, I think, you know, something that's trailable. It's a bit heavy, but also I think just this particular boat really didn't have the performance that we were looking for. And having that, you know, it just meant that we have to be aware that we have to say no, and let's move on to the next boat.
It's very easy to get excited about a boat and just, you know, try to get the first boat you see. But we want to make sure we get the right boat because we want to have it for these journeys up to Alaska and then into the fjords. So good to keep looking, I think. Yeah,
I think the key for looking, as many of you are looking for boats, is don't get too emotionally attached to it. I mean, it's like anything you buy. If you get that emotion overriding your logic, you may not make the best purchase. So it's best to take a sober second thought, but also to go in with those requirements that you've really thought are non-negotiable. If these are the things that you want in your boat, then don't really sort of...
Don't compromise.
Yeah, don't compromise those away, because at the end of the day, you put them on that list for a reason. And I think that's where we're at. We know that we had a great time on Stay Cool. She had fantastic capabilities for what we were doing on the loop. Our requirements have changed, and we need to make sure we keep that in mind when we look at these boats that we're looking to purchase.
Very true. Thanks for watching today. If you have a cutwater or you're looking at cutwaters, leave a comment below. Let us know what you like about your vessel, or if there's something that you think we missed, leave a comment and let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
And if you're someone with a boat or looking for a boat on the Pacific Northwest, let us know. Drop a comment. We'd love to hear what you're looking for and where you're searching.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.